Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you all on board to the distance learning program of Pakistan International School, Doha, Qatar for grade 8. Let's begin with our today's topic, which is letter writing. In this lesson, you will be able to know what is a letter, how many types of letters are there, what is an informal letter, what is the format of informal letter as per required by Federal Board of Intermediate and Secondary Education, Islamabad. You will also be able to identify the elements of a letter, and most importantly, you will be able to apply the elements to compose an informal letter. Well, dear students, let's discuss what is a letter and how many types of letters are there. Letter writing is one of the ways of communication with others through pen. It is a written message sent to friends, relatives, dears and nears, heads of the institutions, and news editors. Letter writing is an important skill to develop. Written communication in both the formal and personal matters is crucial, and so it is necessary to develop a skill for letter writing. Well, letters are broadly classified as formal letters and informal letters. Formal letters are also called business letters. These are addressed to the heads of the institutions and news editors, whereas informal letters are those letters which are written to friends, relatives, and other dears and nears. Since in your syllabus of grade 8 you have only informal letter writing, that is why our main focus will be on getting to know what are informal letters, what are some of the important rules for writing an effective and attractive informal letter, and what is the set format required by Federal Board of Intermediate and Secondary Education, Islamabad, for writing an informal letter. Well, dear students, an informal letter, also referred to as a friendly letter, is a personal letter written to friends or relatives. You can write it to anyone with whom you have a close acquaintance, like friends, family, relatives, and other dears and nears. Since they are written to close relations, the letters have an informal and personal tone. Casual language is used while writing informal letters, and sometimes the letters may even have an emotional undertone as well. Here we'll focus on how to effectively write informal letters and tips to improve our efforts. We'll also be looking at the format of informal letters as well. But before learning the format of informal letters, please do remember the following important rules for writing an effective and attractive informal letter. Number one, divide your letter in small paragraphs. Number two, keep your writing simple. Number three, make a good choice of words, especially if you are writing an apology letter or a letter to express your condolences in case of a death. Now, let's discuss the format of informal letter writing. Dear students, an informal letter is written under the following headings. Number one is heading. Heading consists of the address of the writer. We usually write the address on the right hand side of the page at the very top. Since in board examination, you are not supposed to disclose your personal address, that's why you are required to write it this way. That is examination hall, city, A, B, C. You have to be careful about the punctuation marks. That is examination and hall, both are initial letters of both of them are capitals, and after city you have to put a colon and then A dot B dot C dot. Well, the second part element is date. Next, just below the address, we write the date. This allows the reader to have a reference as to when the letter was written. The third element of an informal letter writing is the salutation, or we call it greeting. Now, since you know the person you are writing to, the greeting can be informal as well. If it is a friend or someone close to your age, you can greet them by their first name, like Dear Ali. If you are writing to your relative, like your mother, father, aunt, uncle, etc., you may greet them as such, for example, Dear Mom. And if you are writing to an elder person, someone you respect greatly, you can address them as Mr. or Mrs. Like, say, for example, you were writing a congratulatory letter to your teacher, it can be addressed as Dear Mr. Shahab. Now, the next and the important element of an informal letter writing is the body of the letter. The body of a perfect informal letter consists of three sections, that is, the opening, the message, the closing. Now, what is an opening paragraph? We actually begin writing the actual letter from here. That is why the opening paragraph sets the tone for the whole letter. You might begin by asking the recipient about their well being, or you may say that you hope the letter finds them in good health and great spirits. The opening of informal letters should be casual and comforting. It must not be formal and direct as in business letters. Ideally, it may consist of 1 to 2 sentences. The next is the message. This is the most important part of the letter, as it is the message itself which you are communicating to the person to whom you are writing this letter. That is why the overall letter should maintain a friendly tone, but you have to adjust the language and the wordings according to who you are writing to. In the end is the closing. The closing is you summarize your letter and say goodbye to the reader. It can be written in many ways, like, for instance, I'm looking forward to seeing you, or I can't wait to see you soon, or I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon. Now, as for the message part of the body of the letter is concerned, it should ideally consist of 3 to 6 sentences. It should state your reason for writing. should expand on what you mentioned in the first paragraph. Ask about the person you are writing to, or make some concluding remarks also, and also invite the person to write back. Now, the next element of letter writing is subscription or closing of the letter. Subscription or closing of the letter mainly depends upon the person to whom you are writing a letter. It also depends upon the level of acquaintance or relation to that person. You may sign off as you please. Some commonly used phrases are lots of love, best or best wishes, kind regards or with best regards. And then you have to write yours lovingly, with love from your affectionate son, father, mother, uncle, depending upon to whom you are writing your letter to. The last part of your letter is signature. After you have chosen your subscription that fits the overall tone of your letter, simply sign your name under that. In board examination, you are not required to disclose your name. That is why you have to write X dot Y dot Z dot, and in bracket you will have to write name. It means that XYZ stands for your name. So that is what is the set format of informal letter required by FBISC Islamabad. Well, dear students, this is what will become the overall look of your informal letter. That is the heading and date on the top right corner of the page, then the greetings, and then the body of the letter, and then the subscription or closing, and at the end, signature. All right, dear students, here is a sample letter written to brother about the importance of the study of science subject. This letter has been written following the set format required by the Federal Board of Intermediate and Secondary Education, Islamabad. It will make your concept of informal letter writing more clear, and following this, you will be able to compose an informal letter writing on any of the given topic, hopefully. Well, dear students, I hope you have understood what are informal letters and what is a set format of writing an informal letter. It's now your turn to apply your understanding of what you have learned so far. You are required to write a letter to your friend who just met with an accident, in which you have to inquire about his health. You are supposed to write this letter following the set format of informal letter writing which you have just learned. Write it in your neat notebook and send a picture of it to your teacher for checking and feedback. So with this, we come to conclude our today's lesson. Thank you very much for your passive listening. Take very good care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz.